Welcome to this BlazeMeter Did You Know session. During this session, we'll look at how BlazeMeter can be used to generate data and how that data can actually be controlled to add a degree of randomness. So let's get straight onto the demonstration. So in BlazeMeter, we've created our test and we've defined our load characteristics. We now need to upload our JMeter script, which is here. Now this JMeter script's been configured with a CSV file. So there's a dependency for a CSV file to run the test. And as you can see on the right hand side, we've identified that this CSV file is required, and we could upload our CSV file and just run static data. But we're going to actually use our synthetic data generation rules to generate the test data for this test. So let's add a data parameter. So we need to give the parameter a name. So this name will match the name that's in our CSV file. So it's called status. And we want to generate a random value. So in our functions, if we do a search for our functions, we're going to use this percval function. And as you can see in the example, you can say that 10% of the time you want to have the value 10, 20% 20, and 70% 70. So let's add this to our example. And for our example, what we're going to say is that for 90% of the time, we want the value OK returned. And then for those with 10% of the time, we want not OK. So that's a very simple example, and let us then look at how this looks when we actually look at our data. So we can see here we've got 10 records. One of these is not OK and the rest are OK. So that's our template for what we need. We can now get this randomization of our data. We can now use this value to drive other data parameters. So if I had another data parameter, and we call it example, and we're going to use the if condition to leverage this parameter we've got. And again, if you look at the help, you have an if condition. You then have this is the expression we're going to use. This is what happens when it's true. This is what happens when it's false. So let's add this to our parameter. And we're going to start with taking the output from this status. So we're going to say $status. So based on the value from there, we want it to equal OK. So when it equals OK, it is true, and we'll do what's in this first section here. And we're going to say to start with, just type the value true. And then when it's false, we'll use the value false, like so. And if you go back to data settings, we can see that when the status is not OK, we're getting the text false. Now we can go a step further, and instead of just putting a string, we can call another function. So let's go back to our data model and let's add another example. We're going to add example 2. And it's very similar to the first example. So let's just take this first example, just copy and paste that like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to change it and say, instead of saying when it's true to type the value true, we're going to use another function. So we're going to say when it's true, we're going to generate a random integer, and that will be a value of between 1 and 1,000. But when it's false, we're going to create a random character, and that will be 1 to 3 characters, and we'll actually say we only want to use the characters A, B, C, D, like so. We can now go and look at this in our data panel, like so. And as you can see, we've got 1 not OK, example 1 is false, and example 2 we've got a character, and all the other ones we've got an integer. So you can extend this in many ways. You can obviously change the actual percentages and the value of the percentages. But as you can see, we can call other functions based on this initial status that we're generating. So it's very powerful to allow you to create randomness in your test data. So as you just saw with BlazeMeter, we can generate test data, but also we can add randomness into the rules to give you these edge cases that you may require for your test data requirements. Please go to blazemeter.com for more information about the platform. You'll also find some videos and blogs about what we do. And also at the BlazeMeter University, there's lots of free courses about BlazeMeter and open source tools. Thank you.